Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. We're here doing the top 5 catamaran ready for the 2020 Miami International Boat Show. Go ahead and hit that bell notification so you can get all the other videos that we put up for the boat show. There's a ton of them. But this has been a quest of mine since I was a little kid, and I had my little toy catamaran, my little 2 blackout boards on it. I have always been like obsessed with figuring out what was the most efficient, fastest, safest boat, especially offshore and big waves. We may have found the best value in a boat of that nature. We got the top 5 boats for the show, and it would be easy just to go out and take the biggest 5 boats and see which one I like better, but that's not really what this video is about. Any boat that's towable that has offshore capability between 20 and 40 feet, and we're thinking value, we're looking at the long-term viability of these companies, how many catamarans they put out, what their experience is. On to number 5, the HammerCat 35. This is one of my favorite boats at the show. It's made of epoxy, it's made of carbon fiber, it's super light, it's 8,000 pounds with a half a tank of gas and the whole boat loaded. You can tow this thing with a regular full-size pickup truck. So cost of ownership is down because your truck is smaller. It's only 8,000 pounds. You can get away with 200-300s and still go like 55 miles an hour. So your gas is gonna go way down. Your cost of repower is gonna go down. This boat was built in South Africa where catamarans originated. And the guy that started this company left Leopard Catamarans, which is a big luxury catamaran company, to start this company because he just wanted a challenge. And I believe that this boat, whether it's this year or next year, is going to really start making some traction in the industry because it's light, it's fuel efficient, it turns like crazy. I mean, it's a great boat. It looks really cool and different, which I really like. And that HammerCat 35, that thing, when you get on it, it goes because it's light. So the theme you're gonna hear in these videos is guys that have been around the industry a long time, experienced in building catamarans because they're finicky, and light, lower horsepower engines for efficiency. And this one definitely fits the bill. It is a cool looking boat. I'm really excited to get back on it again, and it was a great boat. So if you get a chance, take out the HammerCat 35. The 4th boat on the list is the Cat 26. It's brand new, but it's really not. The Cat was a legendary catamaran that came out, I believe, in the late 90s, and everybody wanted this boat. I can't remember the exact story behind it, but I believe some of the owners got old and the technology got sold off a few times. Well, they have resurrected it. Some of the original guys that were involved with Cat finally got a hold of the name, and they started building boats again, and man, this thing is phenomenal. If you're looking for a boat that can get pretty skinny, but also go way offshore, this is the boat to get. The one thing I will note about this boat is it's heavier. I believe the 24-foot twin V is like 1,900 pounds or something, the hull. The hull on the Cat is like 5,000 pounds, right? That's the same weight for the hull of a 31-foot twin V. So with that said, you're gonna get a little more smoother ride on a smaller boat, but your fuel efficiency is gonna be a lot lower, and the cost of ownership is going to be higher. And that's the reason why this boat went down on the list a little bit. I mean, I'm sure with 300 horsepower, even with that weight, that thing's going to push you like crazy. I'm not worried about that. It's just more the economy. Like, if you don't want to spend a lot of money on gas, you're going to save a little bit more money on those lighter boats. Cat, amazing boat. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous. It looks like it could take a bullet. And you know, the older time boat builders built boats real heavy duty like that. This boat will probably be one of the ones that'll outlast and last and last. Plenty of flotation, wonderful boat. I can't wait to get out on this thing. The number 3 boat on the list was the Cat 32 center console. Call me a traditionalist, but this boat, I'm a big believer in, if you've done something over and over again at a super high level, which Cat has done, that you're going to be in the top. I mean, it's just the experience that you have. And they have spared no expense putting this boat out. I believe they based it on their 28 originally, and they've been refining it and putting it on different lengths, and it's in this 32. I mean, it's a beautiful boat. I've been a big fan of Glacier Bay and Cat boats ever since I was a kid, ever since I knew what a catamaran was, and I seen these guys coming out with them. I mean, the fit and finish on Cats is well known. You can't go wrong with the Cat. They put out great boats. They're super clean. I mean, the hull design's been around forever. I mean, I think back in the day, a Glacier Bay, which they bought and they have the technology from, made it from LA to Honolulu. And if a boat can do that, and this was back in like 99 or 2000, if their technology and their boat could do that back then, can you imagine how much better that they've gotten making hundreds of boats since that time. Let's look at the beast, the best boat that we reviewed, hands down. The technology that Invincible has put into this boat took, I believe, 2 or 3 years to develop. The owner originally started off building catamarans and has experience back in South Africa. He came here, started building Invincible monohulls, and now the catamarans have picked back up. He had to get back in the game. So he took that experience he had from way back in the day in South Africa, married it with the highest end engineering and fluid dynamics and all kind of different things that we probably aren't smart enough to understand to make what I believe is the best catamaran on the market. This thing was amazing. It was dry, it was extremely fast out of the hole. You could turn on a dime. It was beautiful, it was gorgeous, it was amazing. With the price upwards over $800,000, because this is a value video, most charter captains and weekend warriors are not gonna be able to afford this boat. But if you can, it's the boat to buy. So people are like, oh, well, why didn't you pick a Freeman? Freemans seem to be really popular. Well, Freemans are great boats. They're amazing boats. They're also very expensive, and I don't believe that the hull technology on the Freeman is better than that of the Invincible. And the reason why that is they've got that little center little sponson thing running down the middle of the catamaran, and the Freeman doesn't have it. So what's gonna happen as an offshore charter captain, I know if I push my boat just a little bit too much, it's like, I mean, most of the time as offshore charter captain, I'm sitting here just gliding and coasting over the waves on my Cat, kind of like a big old Cadillac did on the highway if you hit a bump. Well, with this Freeman, it doesn't have that little sponson in the middle, so it can't break that wave, so you're gonna have more belly flop, okay? I mean, it's a huge boat, and the tunnel is huge, so it's not like that's gonna be something you do all the time, but when you get in the really nasty stuff, you need that little sponson thing in the middle to help shoot out air out the front and cushion your ride even more. Where with that Freeman, you're gonna get belly flop at some point, and you're gonna smack, and that's the thing that people don't like about monohulls is that slap, slap, slap. You're gonna get more of that in the Freeman in worse waves, okay? It may be a faster hull, it may be a more fuel efficient hull. These things are all debatable. But what I'm telling you is the Invincible is the cat you want. This thing had 1,800 horsepower, every option you can imagine. It was an amazing boat, and I can't wait to work with Invincible more in the future. First on the list, we got the 24-foot center console Twin V. They did not spare any expense decking this thing out. When you get in it, it feels like you're in a high-end German luxury sedan. The fit and finish is amazing. For a boat that's $120,000, $130,000 for a 24-foot offshore boat, that is a steal. And that's why it made number 1 on this list. Not because it was necessarily the nicest boat, but it was really close, if not one of the nicest boats on this list. It's just smaller. It's also the lightest boat on this list, which means excellent fuel economy. You can have smaller outboards on it, and it doesn't cost as much to own. They've been around for 25 years. They know something about making catamarans. Full disclosure, I have a Twin V and I love it. I have not gotten a dollar from them or anybody else to make these videos. This is just my personal opinion on my experience going on all these boats at the show, going on the water, doing sea trials, and this is what my research from the history of catamarans and my experience as a captain, commercial fisherman, dialing down and figuring out what is the best of these boats. Some of these companies have experiences with these catamarans that date back to South Africa. Catamarans were originally developed in South Africa and New Zealand and for big waves in like Hawaii and stuff. Some of these designers took that old school knowledge, hired designers like hired fluid dynamic designers and all kind of different engineers to help them build a bigger, faster, better turning catamaran that had a drier ride and wouldn't beat you up. And it really shows. When you go out on the water in some of these catamarans, you can really tell the difference. The technology has been upgraded over the years, okay? So we're talking about value, experience in building catamarans, and technology, right? So some of the smaller ones actually did better, you know, on this top 5 list because their companies have been around longer and they've just put out way more catamarans than anybody else. And there's something to be said for being around a long time and putting out really good catamarans for a long time. Also, we're looking at value. A lot of charter captains and weekend warriors don't have these huge bucks to go out and buy a brand new 50-foot catamaran with, you know, 1,800 horsepower on the back or whatever. Another big factor in picking the top 5 catamarans was core values of these companies. Being in the military for a long time, I realized that you can't fake, make, or buy core values. Big part of the reason I picked these boats in this video was because the core values of the people that worked and the communication and the attention to detail that I experienced not only with me, but I would stay there for 20, 30 minutes, watch them interact with customers and see what they were saying. I know a great deal about these boats, not as much as these boat builders, but through this process I've learned a great deal. And I would sit there and I would listen to their salespeople. I would listen to the people, their marketing people. I would just kind of get a feel for what they were like. Honestly, there are some companies that didn't make it on this top 5 list because of the experience that I had with some of their interactions with people. Core values are everything, and if your people all at even the lowest levels are trained and are ready to go and know what they need to do and are presenting your company message, that's gonna project onto people. And if you don't got it right, people are gonna see that. Sometimes having more people at your booth sitting around doing nothing, playing on the phone is not as good as having 4 or 5 people that are motivated and that are ready and willing and friendly. You know, just because you have booth babes doesn't mean you're gonna get sales. Like, you need people that know their stuff, technical experts telling people about your boat. And if they can't get it, not everybody's gonna know those answers. They need to be able to get to the people that have those answers. In all, guys, I took out a lot of boats. I was on every single catamaran in this category at the show. I went on little skinny running catamarans. I went on Freemans. I went on Sea Hunters. You know, a lot of these different boats are really good boats. The honorable mention, Sea Hunter, Freeman, you know, these are all really good boats. Falcon Boats, a new catamaran company, had some nice looking boats. For their first boats, man, I was really impressed with them. You got the Recon boats that turned out really nice, really skinny running catamarans. You know, there's a bunch of boats here. These catamarans are super cutting edge technology. They're great. If you haven't been on a catamaran, you need to get on a catamaran. You will never ever want to buy a monohull again, I promise you. And that's why I started doing these videos. I want to share my passion with catamarans with people, so that they can save their knees and back and enjoy fishing way longer than they do now. Because I can't tell you how many people that have been on my boat, that have been on a Parker or a Contender that's 5 or 6 or 10 feet longer, and they get on my boat and they say, your 26-foot boat runs better. You know, you can go skinnier, lighter horsepower engines, you can turn the dock better, you got the engines at the corners, you can run on one engine and plane all the way back home going 20-30 miles an hour most of the time. In a monohull, you're gonna go 8. Catamarans are the future. If you haven't been on a cat, get on one, because you will be left behind. Many more videos to come. Go ahead, go to Ballistic Inc. Buy a shirt to help support content on the channel. I'd like to thank my sponsors, Brownells, Resort Vacation Properties of St. George Island, Salt Life. And again, guys, if you believe what I believe, that living a waterful life isn't something you just do for fun, but it's part of who you are, please like, subscribe, and share my channel below so we can help inspire just that.